Get this. Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin are about to have a summit. Not in Geneva, not in some fancy palace, but in Alaska. Yes, Alaska. The very same piece of land Russia sold to America for a measly $7.2 million back in the day. Now, 158 years later, Putin is flying back to America's coldest state, not to ask for a refund, but to offer his own land deal of the century. You cannot make this stuff up. The universe is writing its own punchlines at this point. It's like breaking up with your ex, selling them your car for cheap, and then showing up a decade later to convince them to give you their garage. The audacity is just, wow. The whole reason for this icy get-together scheduled for August 15th is that Trump wants to be the ultimate peacemaker. He announced on Truth Social, his platform of choice for all major geopolitical shifts, that he's going to end the war in Ukraine. His grand strategy? Something he calls territory swapping. It sounds less like a diplomatic solution and more like a game of Catan gone horribly wrong. He envisions a world where everyone just trades a little land and shakes hands. The problem, of course, is that Putin's idea of a swap is a little one-sided. He's not exactly offering up St. Petersburg in exchange for a quiet weekend. So what's on the table? Putin's envoy, Steve Witkoff, brought back the proposal from Moscow, and it's a doozy. Putin has graciously offered a ceasefire, but only if Ukraine agrees to hand over the entire eastern Donbas region and Crimea, territories Russia illegally annexed years ago. Let me break that down for you. Putin is essentially trying to sell Trump a bridge that he already stole, burned, and then claimed was his all along. European leaders are, to put it mildly, freaking out. They see this for what it is. Putin trying to look like he's playing ball while giving up absolutely nothing. It's the political equivalent of offering to pay for dinner with someone else's credit card. Now here's where the plot thickens, because this whole summit wasn't even the original plan. Trump, in his classic dealmaker style, had given Putin a deadline. He said, "You either agree to a ceasefire by Friday, August 8th, or you're going to face the heaviest sanctions you've ever seen." It was supposed to be a big, tough guy moment. The world held its breath. Friday came, the deadline whizzed past, and what happened? Nothing. No sanctions on Russia. Instead, Trump announced this Alaska meeting and, in a completely unrelated plot twist, slapped a 50% tariff on India for buying Russian oil. This move is so Trump. It's a masterpiece of distraction. It's like being in a staring contest with someone, and just when you're about to lose, you yell, "Hey, look over there," and punch a random guy in the next room. India must be so confused right now. They were just minding their own business, buying some oil, and suddenly, they're the economic villain in the latest episode of The Trump Show. Meanwhile, Putin gets to skate by without any consequences, proving once again that deadlines are just suggestions when you're dealing with the former president. It's a bold strategy, and it leaves everyone, especially India, scratching their heads. Even Trump seems to be getting frustrated with his own plan. He's been trying to play the role of the global peacemaker, the guy who can end wars with a single handshake, but Putin keeps making it difficult. Just recently, after Russia launched another series of attacks on Kyiv, Trump couldn't hide his annoyance. He called the strikes disgusting, repeating the word for emphasis as if he was genuinely shocked that the guy he's about to meet with is, still waging a war. This growing resentment between the two leaders adds a delicious layer of drama to the upcoming summit. It's not a meeting of friends, it's a meeting of two frenemies with massive egos. And let's not forget Putin's own strategy here. The man is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Or, in Trump's case, maybe just eating the checkers. Before this Alaska summit has even happened, Putin's aide, Yuri Ushakov, is already out there talking about the next summit. He's already invited Trump for a follow-up meeting in Russia, and he's talking about how Alaska is a great place to discuss economic cooperation between Washington and Moscow. This is a masterclass in political maneuvering. Putin is so confident about how this meeting will go that he's already planning the sequel. He's basically spoiling the ending of his own movie. While Trump and Putin are busy planning their Alaskan adventure, there's one group of people who are watching this with a bit more than just popcorn and morbid curiosity, the Ukrainians. And to put it bluntly, they are not impressed. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, a man who has led his country through years of brutal conflict, immediately shut down the whole territory-swapping idea. He made it crystal clear that while he's willing to work with Trump, his people will not give their land to the occupier. You can't really blame him. It's a pretty reasonable position to take when someone is actively trying to steal your house. Zelensky's rejection is not just political posturing. It comes from a place of deep national pride and immense sacrifice. He stated, "We will not give Russia any awards for what it has done. The Ukrainian people deserve peace. This isn't a game of Monopoly for them. It's their lives, their homes, and their future. The idea that their sovereignty could be traded away in a backroom deal in Anchorage is, frankly, insulting. Imagine fighting for your freedom for years, only to have two guys in another hemisphere decide your country's fate over some lukewarm coffee and salmon. It's a tough pill to swallow." This sentiment is shared by everyday Ukrainians who are deeply skeptical of the whole spectacle. In Kyiv, the mood is one of weary resignation. One 33-year-old man named Artem called the meeting just for show and described Trump as a spineless windbag. He pointed out the grim reality, saying, while they are negotiating something there, people are dying. It's a stark reminder that behind all the political theater and media hype, there's a real human cost. The summit might be a meme-worthy event for the rest of the world, but for Ukrainians, it's a matter of life and death. Another Ukrainian, a woman named Natalia, expressed the profound injustice of the situation. She called the idea of giving up territory unfair and horrible, asking a question that hangs over these entire negotiations. Are boys, girls, how many have died? This is the question that gets lost in the headlines about land deals and sanctions. The people of Ukraine have paid for their freedom with blood, and they are not about to let anyone, not Trump and certainly not Putin, tell them that their sacrifice was for nothing. They're not just a piece on the board, they're the ones who have been playing the game for real. So what can we expect from this blockbuster summit? Experts are divided, which is another way of saying nobody has a clue. Former Trump National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien predicts that Putin will emerge as the loser, arguing that Ukraine needs real security guarantees, not empty promises. But let's be real, the conditions for this meeting seem to favor Moscow so heavily that it's hard not to see this as a win for Putin. He gets a high-profile meeting with a U.S. president, he gets to float a ridiculous peace plan that makes him look reasonable to some, and he does it all without facing any real consequences for his actions. The whole thing is shaping up to be the political equivalent of a reality TV show. You've got two larger-than-life characters, a dramatic, exotic location, and a plot full of twists and turns. Will Trump get his peace deal? Will Putin manage to sell his stolen land? Will they end up arguing over who has the better private jet? It's all on the table. The only thing we know for sure is that it will be a spectacle. The world will be watching, not just because of the geopolitical stakes, but because it's impossible to look away from a train wreck this magnificent. This meeting is a perfect storm of ego, ambition, and absurdity. Trump wants to prove he's the world's greatest deal-maker, even if it means picking a random fight with India to distract from a missed deadline. Putin wants to solidify his gains and fracture Western alliances, all while looking like a misunderstood statesman. And caught in the middle are the people of Ukraine, who just want the war to end without having to give up their country. It's a high-stakes drama with global implications, and it's all happening in the remote wilderness of Alaska. Whatever happens on August 15th, you can be sure it will be wild, unpredictable, and probably generate enough memes to last us until the next international crisis. This isn't just diplomacy, it's content. It's the season finale we've all been waiting for, and the cliffhanger is going to be epic. So grab your popcorn, keep your eyes on the news, and make sure you're following along. As the world tunes in to watch this unbelievable summit unfold, all I can say is, you're going to want to smash that subscribe button. The next chapter is going to be a wild ride.